Hello and welcome to the show. I am here on Forza 6 with another silly car build. My vehicle today is the Lancia Stratos, and people wanted to have a go at this car. I'm kind of curious to see how it will turn out. On Forza 5, I did do a silly car build on this vehicle, and it was terrible. I don't know what we're going to have on Forza 6. The difficulty with this car is that as with this series, I don't tune the vehicles, and the game from standard comes with basically a rally suspension setup, which makes it very interesting to drive around a circuit normally. But what we're going to get here, I have no idea. Engine-wise, we are going to be going for the 4.5-litre V8. That's the wrong button. 4.5-litre V8. The other two engines, they're not bad engines. The V6, I used that engine last time out in the Willys Jeep, and the Turbo Rally engine, again, can be useful in some situations. An awkward one to get the most out of, though, certainly. But of these engines, the V8 is going to get by far the most power. The Ferrari 458 engine, we're going to be getting about 900 horsepower out of it, which is a lot. It is certainly a lot in a very little Lancia Stratos, because by the time we've finished, I would not be surprised to see this car perhaps getting, it might get under £2,000, although that engine has upped the weight a little bit, so we shall see. But yeah, the power to weight ratio is going to be massive in this car. The real concern is, will it have enough grip, and will the suspension be too bouncy? And last time, I don't think we quite got wheelies going on from the car, but it did wallow about. It nosedives massively going into corners. We have got not the largest of tyres either. 265 on the rear. I didn't even pay attention to the fronts. 225s. They're not particularly spectacular tyres. Admittedly, we are going to be driving the car in the wet, so again, how this vehicle is going to react being in the damp, we might see it want to roll over. We might not. I'm genuinely not sure what we're going to be getting from the Lancia. Just sticking on every little bit of handling parts that we possibly can. The brakes are going to take off some weight. I did spy that we don't have very much in the way of options. I mean, this being a road legal rally car, we don't have very much in the way of options through here. Roll cage, we're still sitting around about the £2,300 mark. I doubt we can take out that much weight from the weight reduction. Sure enough, we can't. It's only £151. We are, though, very near the top of S-Class, so as far as PI goes, it is shooting up quite nicely. I mean, our target car is, the Lancia, is only just into the top of R-Class, I think. So, I mean, these cars are getting significantly higher PI, but they just can't use their power as well as the other racing vehicle can. This, as I said, I don't know what we're going to get. It's another £50 out with the exhaust. We are not going to see it getting under £2,000. So yeah, now we are up into R-Class with the Stratos. It's always a general good way of knowing if things are going a little bit wrong with the car build when the power is shooting up and the PI isn't. That tends to, if that is the case, that would suggest to me that the car is going to be very, very awkward to drive. This is doing it a little bit, but it's not massive. So we are, it's not like we're gaining like 1 PI from 50 odd horsepower. Admittedly, this we are already gaining a little bit of PI because it is increasing the weight as well. I think this. My expectations is that this is going to be a little bit easier to drive than it was on Forza 5. I still think we could have an interesting handling Stratos, certainly with 914 horsepower. Power to weight ratio is going to be immense. We do have relatively small rear tyres. I fear we are just going to spin the wheels constantly. But of course, there is only one way for us to find this out. And that is, of course, to take it to the Brands Hatch Indy circuit in the pouring rain, where I am going to be getting 6 laps to try and beat the race car's 49.8 second lap. Will the Stratos do it? I think it'll struggle, because let's face it, everything so far has struggled to, well, even remotely get near it. But let's find out, shall we? We get off the line with much of the wheel spin. The suspension is how I feared it would be. Suspension is still wibbly, still quite wobbly. Probably not a good idea to go on that curb. I'm not quite sure if it's going to like that. We can, on the plus side, we can actually get to full throttle with this car. Unlike with the birdcage, a few vehicles actually have had issues getting to full throttle. I mean, the Willys Jeep could do it because it was four-wheel drive. This, I clicked the button as I was going to change gear. That wasn't the cleverest thing I've ever done. Yeah, the Willys Jeep we could get to full throttle, being four-wheel drive. It just had chronic understeer. This thing, it actually got better traction than I was expecting from the Lancia. I think I've probably got to be careful if things do start going wrong with this car. I'm not sure it's going to be that easy to save. The Mercedes, the C-Class Mercedes was very nice. It was very controllable even when things went really wrong. You could gather it all back up. I fear this, with such a tiny wheelbase, could get itself into quite a lot of trouble with if you start sliding it around. Okay, suspension being soft is actually quite useful for running over that curb at turn 1. We can be quite greedy in this car across the curb because the suspension is so soft. It's not actually going to fire us off it onto two wheels, so we don't have to worry, I don't think, too much about rolling the car, which is always good. The scary thing is on the brakes. The nose of the car dives so much under braking in this. We go up, even in the wet here. It'd be a lot worse in the dry, when there's just more grip available. In the wet, there's still quite impressive nose diving going on here as we round this corner. We got a little bit of understeer from the Lancia. We can just about get to the throttle. We can get some good straight line speed when we do release all of the power, 156 miles an hour. Not as quick a lap time as I was perhaps expecting from the car, only in the 55s. That's Volvo territory. We've got to try and find a way of doing better. I'm still clipping that button there, which is okay. A little bit of a pain. Oh, we're going to go round on a curb. Okay, so the curbs aren't going to. They're not going to put the car up on two wheels. It's not really going to roll it. They can upset it. It's almost as if the suspension just can't quite cope with everything that we're asking it to do, to deal with the power, the cornering, and then you add a curb into the mix, and it's just, nope, I'm giving up. I'm not going to pay attention, and we're just going to go round the circle. So we want to really... we want to be wary of using the curves. Is probably the best way of putting that one. We don't want to go too aggressive with the curb usage. Oh, or we can get into trouble completely and utterly on our own, coming down the start-finish straight, where you can get to full throttle okay, and we can. The brakes are actually pretty good at getting it to stop, despite the quite scary diving around in this. Right, let's see if we can get a good lap. The back end is a little on the loose side. I would perhaps prefer some more rear end grip as well when you're really pushing the car through some of these corners. You can just have the back end letting go on you. The puddles, though, not causing too much of a problem for the Lancia down there, which is always good. We can't quite get flat out in third gear without some wheel spin, but if we put it in fourth, the car is pretty happy to get some traction and to get going again. I'm taking a slightly wonky line through here, but never mind. We'll get it around, try and get it onto the straight. Oh, yeah, if you just upset it a little bit, that's when you can get in trouble. Fighting for control. We don't want it to be tripoding either, going up on, lifting up the inside front wheel. I'm pretty sure it'll do that with relative ease around here if you let it. And that's, oh no, we're gonna no, fight for control. Oh, we had a rear wheel on the curb while I'm pretty sure the front wheel was up in the air. It's not what you want the car to be doing whatsoever. It's as scary as I remember the Stratos. I kind of had hoped it wouldn't be like this, but it's still very much. I don't think it's quite lifting a front wheel up into the air, but it's getting quite close. And then we've just got especially if you're trying to change direction. You're trying to change direction and the front wheel sort of wheel about in the air, then you slap it down on the ground and so on. It's just not ideal driving conditions in the Stratos, certainly. Right, there we go. We're on the straight, but we have got fantastic acceleration down here. It's 157. That's as quick as the Ferrari did down this part of the course. But I have ran a little too deep into turn 1. We're going to be all over the curves down there. We shall try and see if I can make up some time around this latter part of the lap here. It's just a little awkward to drive I will say that about the Stratos. Great acceleration and surprising traction. Now, I really thought with these much smaller tyres than some of the vehicles that have gone around here, I really thought we may potentially have some issues. I mean, we saw humongous understeer from the Willys Jeep. It just lacked any real grip in that car. This has got much better traction than I was expecting it to have, but the handling is still as scary as it always was in a Stratos. Fire it towards the line, but it's not going to be enough. It's a 54.107 from the Stratos, the bounciest Stratos. Yeah, you can see the difficulty we're having with it. It's just the suspension is so soft in the car. Not quite get wheelies going on, but it wouldn't be hard to imagine that with some drag tyres you could probably get it wheeling. Yeah, it is a delightfully tricky car to drive this one, but better traction, much better traction than I was expecting from it. I wasn't thinking we'd be able to get it flat out as often as we did. I thought we'd have a lot more trouble with spinning the wheels. The time, well, it will go into 8th place. It's a couple of tenths of a second down on the Plymouth Fury. It does beat the Volvo. I mean, we're still well down on the Lancia Beta race car. We're well down on the likes of the Ferrari 250 LM as well, but it was, yeah, a little bit more controllable. I mean, the bouncy suspension's always scary, but there was definitely a little bit more traction in this car than I was expecting. Now, though, it is time to see how quickly it will go in a straight line. So that means taking the Lancia to Le Mans. Now, as far as speed goes, this should be relatively decent at top speed. I don't expect we're going to be quite getting up towards the giddy heights of 270 with this car. We simply don't have the same power as the 250 LM. Maybe kind of 230, potentially. I do have some real concerns over what on earth this car is going to do when we hit the bumps. Now, the soft suspension could be good. It could cushion the blow, it could drive nice and smoothly over the bumps. Or we could hit the bumps, we could go bouncing and go flying. There is going to be one or the other. Quite which one, I don't know. Yeah, 230, reckons 235. If we can get 235, it would put it quicker than the Hellcat. So that's a pretty respectable goal. But yeah, it's you can see how much how much the front of the car lifts up as we go firing along down here. I mean, the quartering at these kind of speeds is going to be interesting. It's going to be very sideways, in fact, how the quartering is going to go through turn 1. I wonder if we could probably roll it off these now. Most things can roll off there. These Le Mans curbs, the little sort of yellow bumps on the outside or inside of the corners, they are really nasty. Definitely, I think Brands Hatch might have flattered this car slightly in that cars with this sort of a suspension tend to have more difficulties at the higher speed turns. Because the front of the car is going to lift up in the air, you'll have wheels dangling about, they tend to get more awkward. So yeah, Brands Hatch is not too bad. Oh, look at the dive under braking there. We just properly bounced it into the corner. Okay, well, seeing as to give the car a fair chance, we will just go and give it a little bit of a run up down here. But that's the... Oh, the normal suspension on the Lancia is hilarious. It's just so bouncy, right? Yeah, there's a bump as you come under brakes through there. Oh crap, we're going to hit it on these bumps here, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Okay, well, screw it, I tried. There's another bump through there. Hasn't caused many cars issues on Forza 6, but yeah, again, it just overloads the suspension on this car. Right, we are on to the straight. The acceleration, pretty good. We're up to 200 miles an hour now, although we have seen faster. Again, you know, it's got a lot of power, but it certainly isn't the most powerful car we've had down here. Up to 225 miles an hour, though. Pretty good going. In a Lancia Stratos, oh, you're going to crack the 230. There we go. 230, 231, with the same speed as the Hellcat. Well, there we go. We're past the Challenger Hellcat at 232 miles an hour, and then 233. We're going to be hitting the bumps any time now at 234. Come on, 1 more mile an hour would be quite nice. 1 more mile an hour, anything? Nope. Okay, 233 it is. Oh, okay, there we go. It's just, you go to turn around that corner and the front end lifts up and then you get no steering. We did get a little bit of a wheelie in the middle of all of that. We just kind of ran along the wall, so it was, yeah, slightly... a slightly anticlimactic final quarter. I was expecting a bigger moment from the Stratos, but the way I'd positioned myself in the road, we kind of avoided the first big jump, and then as we started turning, we found another bump on the inside of the track, and it lifted the front up, and then we just kind of brushed along the wall. Could have gone a lot worse around the corner. Yeah, I mean, acceleration-wise, straight-line speed-wise, 234 miles an hour is pretty good going. However, bumps in this car do not get along. The suspension is so incredibly soft on this vehicle that it causes problems trying to corner with all of this speed. It certainly does make for an amusing challenge, though, trying to keep this blooming car on the road. I mean, still, you know, the lap time wasn't that bad, and the straight line speed, as I said, it goes quicker than the Challenger Hellcat by about 3 miles an hour. It's quicker than the Volvo and the Plymouth and the Willys Jeep, so it's not that bad, certainly, for straight line speed, and it wasn't quite as terrifying through the corner at the end of the straight as I was expecting. A little bouncy, but yeah, not completely and utterly awful. It's certainly an interesting car to go driving with, this one. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.